Thank you for coming out. I just have a few slides, I promise, to give you an update of the activity of the past day or two. Just as I said last week, I'll say it again tonight, it's been very hard for me to keep up with all of the changes that have occurred out in the Fisher complex in Leilani Estates and just below over the past couple, 2 or 3 weeks. So we have some people in the back who have been working out at night, trying to track the flows to provide information to the EOC. So if you have specific questions, please go to the back of the room after the evening. They'll be glad to help you out. So this is a map that you've seen before of the eastern tip of the island. The red areas are the areas that have been covered by lava over the past, since May 3rd. And we have numbered vents from up here upslope, vent 11, all the way down to number 17. So I may have a few mistakes. We'll see how this goes. The most active fissure right now is fissure 8, and it's the one in the black circle. And it has been feeding lava for the past couple of days out toward the northeast. And that particular flow has reached past the PGV access road and also has crossed Highway 132. There are 3 other vents that were active this morning during the overflight. 19, 20, and 18. The numbers aren't very important, but number 18 is the one that was generating a new lava flow that was moving toward the east. And this afternoon, the location is reached about this area right here, and it was still active. So this just marks the distance of the lava flow that's traveled from fissure 8 in the past couple of days. This is what the lava flow looks like leading toward the east from fissure 18 from this morning's overflight at about 6:30 in the morning. You can see it's a channelized flow. Channelized flow here, levees on either side, and this is the source area up here. You can see the lava is being distributed in different areas, so it's not all being channeled in one location. This is what fissure 8 looked like actually at about noontime, not 6:30. I was in too much of a hurry to check my time. So this was taken at about noontime. The lava fountain is among the highest that we've seen so far. It's on the order of almost 200 feet, perhaps a little bit higher. And as a consequence, the fragmentation of the lava fragments leads to small pieces of lava or spatter, and also Pele's hair that can get wafted up from the heat above that plume, and then the winds will carry it downwind. Pele's hair is a little coarser than our hair, but it's made of volcanic glass. And so you'll see maybe strands of the hair on your car or your windshield. And if you pick it up and crush it, you're going to get glass shards in your fingers and your hand. So please be careful when you're trying to deal and brush away Pele's hair that may land on the ground. This is a view this afternoon just before 2 o'clock of Highway 132 of lava flow impinging on the road, and it crossed it within an hour later. This is an aerial view of that lava flow coming from fissure 8, which is back off the screen to the right. And it is crossed the road here, and it looks like these other areas may cross the road as well. This lava flow is moving more or less along one of the paths of steepest descent. And I put this larger scale map so that you could see the location of that lava flow right here across the highway, and where, if it keeps going and it follows the lowest point, then it could still follow that blue line for some unknown distance. It all depends on the vent conditions and how the history of the lava flow changes over time. So with that, I'll end, and we'll be happy to answer your questions at the end of the presentation. Thank you. Thanks.
It's ever changing. You just don't know what to expect from one day to the next. Yesterday it was 2 small fountains of lava just shooting up. and one smaller one, the one closest over here was a little bit taller, and it was just one continuous fountain shooting up, and then you come down here today, and it's like undescribable. I mean, it's like I can't even tell you how high that's getting into the air, but it's got to be what, 300 feet. And yesterday they were probably max of about maybe 100 feet, between 75 and 100 feet. So today they increased volume with those two going on simultaneously, and it looks like they're basically in the same spot, except they're just so huge. It's really hard to gauge exactly where they were yesterday, but it appears to be pretty much in the same place.
Oh, we just saw a phenomenal fountain at the end of High Street. It's the end now because the lava rolled across it, wiping out the entire northeast section of Leilani Estates. The fountains we're going is between 6, 19, 22. The fissures now are all just rolling into one another, and they're shooting hundreds of feet in the air. Kahukai intersected with Pohoiki, and that intersection is no longer there. It's gone. It's covered with lava. And the other, if you turn right, and that was the edge of Leilani Estates. That hole, there's a couple streets that came off of it, all gone. Right now it's a lava lake. The closest residence from the edge of the lava was within 75 feet of the edge of the lava flow. And a lot of the photographers were staying overnight there with the owner's permission, saying that within 24 hours that home could be demolished.
I wished it would end so we could get back home into our homes. That's exactly what I would. And nobody else lose their homes. I mean, this is beautiful to look at, but it is destructive for a lot of people who have homes down here on the bottom. We have a dog that has respiratory problems, so we come down during the day just to have a sense of normalcy, cut the grass, take care of the yard, fix dinner, and then we go back to the senior citizen center in Pahoa.
On my sulfur dioxide ratings that we got from the Hawaii Fire Department, it was about 1 to 0.3, fluctuating with the wind. It stayed relatively low. The winds were perfect, blowing all the sulfur dioxide over the lava lake away from us. Good for us on that side of the lava lake, but anybody on that other side of Leilani Estates and Lower Puna, they're really catching the SO2. That northeast section of Leilani is within half a mile of Puna geothermal. Right, you can see it. If you just turn your head and you look, there's PGV and there's some fountains, so it's really close to one another. Yeah, the University of Hawaii Hilo does some mapping with drones that really helps Hawaii County. They fly over grid patterns over the flow, and they're able to feed that information back to Hawaii County. And every morning, they get an update from the scientists at UH Hilo, and that intelligence really helps provide information to the county so they can make decisions for the residents. The lava, just to see, it's amazing. And you just think it's the sight, but it's the smell, it's the heat that radiates off of it. It never looks the same in the fountain. And you realize that stuff is so beautiful, but it affects people's lives. So you look at it with a grain of salt, and you're like, it's beautiful, but my goodness, it's very disruptive. You know, with these lava lakes and lava flows, the gases, with this much lava, there are a lot of gases out there. So please stay tuned to Hawaii County's announcements about the sulfur dioxide for your safety. The latest information is there. We want to make sure that people are safe with that gas.
Us at Hawaii Electric Light Company. This afternoon, lava did cross Highway 132. We have a power line that goes down to Kapoho, and unfortunately the lava damaged that power line, and customers down in Kapoho are without power right now. At this time, we do not have plans to try and go and make repairs along Highway 132. The situation with the lava is too unpredictable. We have generators on the island, but we're not deploying just yet down in Kapoho. We want to make sure what the situation with the lava is before we deploy the generators. It'll take some site preparation to hook up the generators and get the particulars of the electrical system with a temporary generator set up. We want to make sure we pick the right location, not a location that the lava is going to inundate later. We have those designs and plans in the works in the generator on island. Some of you down in Kalapana, Nanavali Estates, and parts of Pahoa, and even parts of Leilani, you experienced a short power interruption yesterday. That was so that we could transfer service. You were being served by a substation along Highway 132, about a quarter of a mile down the road from the Y point, we transferred your source to another source in Ainaloa, so you're serving from a different source. Today we had to de-energize that Kapolo substation. The lava is too close, but you are being served from a different source in Ainaloa, so we got that work done yesterday. Today, the lava inundated our switching station on the PGV site, so there are no more electrical facilities on the PGV site. It's pretty much been run over by the lava. That was a little cruel. But we still have enough generation. We have enough generation from other generators. We're still maintaining all the other generation. Generation fleet is normal. We have adequate margins to continue to supply as we go through this. Thank you.
So also have folks from the telecom industry, and they'll also be here to answer your questions. Make sure you guys don't leave here. All the different partners are at their stations around the room. You see their sides. Make sure you guys don't leave here. As I say, don't leave here with any questions, because they're here specifically to answer, take care of you guys. So get your questions answered. I'm not sure if Phoenix mentioned, but we've got the N95 mask giveaway in the back. Make sure you get them. Also, so for the telecom, we've got Wally Wong from Hawaiian Tel, and Bob Kabusle from Verizon, and Steve. Bob is from AT&T, and from Verizon is Steve Clark. So if any of those gentlemen need to come up and mention anything, now's your time. Otherwise, we'll move on. Okay, Wally Wong from Hawaiian Tel.
Aloha kako. Hey, so I'm with Hawaiian Telecom, as you know, and we're trying our best to keep communications open. Right now, our focus is on Highway 130 and Highway 132, because that's our fiber feeds, and from there we branch off to the different subdivisions. So as you know, 132 has been compromised right now. So we have a solution where we're going to try to use radios to connect services across the lava. And right now, we're just waiting for the flow front to kind of settle down to determine where we're going to connect at the top, and where we're going to find a section on the bottom that we can connect to. So that's what we're doing for Highway 132. So we can, our concern there is, and priority is to keep the cell service up, as well as taking care of the people down in Kapoho Beach. But really the cell service communications, they want to keep that up, because everybody's using it, especially our first responders. So that's what we're working on right now. And if you guys have any questions, you can see me in the back. Thank you.
Hey, good evening. My name is Ron Whitmore. I'm with the Department of Research and Development with the County of Hawaii. We've been working closely with all the telecom providers. The reason Verizon, AT&T guys probably aren't here tonight, because they're actively working in the field to restore service. In simple terms, their cell service is dependent on power, the Helco lines, as well as on the Hawaiian Tel lines. So when lava crossed 132 today, both those went down. But there are multiple contingency plans in place that they're working very hard right now to put in place. It's partially a function of what Wally guys are doing with Hawaiian Tel, but there's also other microwave and satellite options they can use to restore signal, and generators on island they can use to restore power. So they're working very hard to restore your cell and internet service as quickly as possible.
So a key component of the telecom is our messaging. So make sure, if you haven't already, sign up for Civil Defense Blackboard messaging. If you don't have a cell phone or you don't have connectivity, make sure you got a radio that you can listen to, local stations that we push our messages out on. So I'll give the mayor one last shot at this before we close. Sorry, can't forget water, right? So from water supply, Keith Okamoto.
Work continues on our couple hole well. It's going fairly smoothly. We have a few more pieces of equipment to install, and so we're looking at maybe about 2-3 more days, and we'll have that putting water into the system, and that will get water to the vacation land, beach lots along the Mackay areas. We still need people to conserve and use water wisely to make sure that this source can go as far for as long as it possibly can. And again, we'll be on the side if there's any questions. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Please make use of the stations. I know I started on a kind of a down, and who can not be down on such a hard time for you, but I was looking at my list. But before that, I want to introduce one man that I think many of you have known out on the field. He's the head of the Public Works roadway for the island. I know he's been out there all the time, so how about a hand for Neil Azevedo? That's the man with the bald head. Thank you, Neil. And I'm looking at those names, and this is real. Thomas Magno, as you guys know. I coached him football when he was 14. The president of Hawaiian Electric Light Company in high school. Damn good quarterback. Fullback. General Hara. I coached him football at Waikea. Neil Azevedo. He was my captain from Waikea, but also I coached him in Pop Warner at 9 years old. My goodness, don't ask anybody how old I am. But in closing, for me, I really mean it. We will get through this. We can't, there's a man from FEMA that I will always remember because it is so true. I think you can see we made a rule from day one, and I promise you this was the rule. We will call every single source we can to help us go through this and minimize harm. They were all told 100% of every single decision will be made in consideration of you and never of politics, and we will keep that promise. Thank you very much for tonight.
Okay, just a reminder, our Recovery Information Center is open at the Powell Community Center, Monday through Friday, 9 to 3. Make sure you go hit them up for any of your needs. Also, just a reminder that folks getting to Leilani, you got to be in there by 10. Thank you. Okay, thanks for your question, ma'am. Thanks for your question. That's a common question. I took a lot of calls today, and there's a lot of questions, okay?
It's not even though there was a back gate to Nunavut, Tom. I'm very sorry, but we have to speak up and know for our...
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Thanks for your questions. So the team that is here is rounding this area with monitors, both SO2 and H2S. When the project is completed, that information will be shared with the public. But we want to make sure that it's accurate and it is posted where you guys can get it. It'll be web-based, and you guys will see that information. As far as Railroad Avenue is prepped. It's ready for when we need it. Yes, the gates are still up because we don't want people driving on it and then wearing it out. It's not going to be road at this time, but for emergency use, if Nanavali needs access to get to Hawaiian beaches and further on, that road will be open. The Public Works is on board, and they've got staff that live in the area that can open that road right away. All right, so the evacuation status. So we've got several neighborhood streets that are under evacuation status. Lani Puna, Hali Kamahina, Kamaili, Alaili Road, and then you saw also the bigger subdivisions in Leilani. Right now we're operating from 7 to 6, access into Leilani to retrieve your possessions, take care of your animals. We know people are staying there overnight, but you heard from the geologists, the volcanologists, how unstable the situation is. And I'll go over our messaging, our alert systems and so forth a little bit later, but, the area is still unstable. You guys need to be aware of what's going on. We've got one siren in Leilani Estates to let you guys know. You got to make sure that you're hooked up to our regular other systems as well. So for the rest of the areas that I mentioned, same thing for you guys. If you need to go in there, if you need access, contact my office, 935-0031, Civil Defense, and we'll set up escort into these areas to get you in, to see what the status is. Currently, Public Works, other civil defense, I know other church groups, service groups, are helping the people in the last inundations down off Malamaki up on Buhiki Road. So as I said, you're in there, you gotta be prepared. You gotta be getting our messages, you gotta be aware, use your senses also as to what's going on, what's changing. You gotta be ready to evacuate. We've had a number of instances where we had to get people out at a sudden notice. We've had people get stuck in there. I know you guys are going off-road to access your properties, and you're making it tough for us. You got to do what you got to do. We're going to help you out if you get stuck, but be aware of your senses. Make good choices. Also, I know right now businesses are down, but we need vacation rentals to cease, especially in the Lower Puna area. Water Department is working on reactivating that well that's on Green Lake that Green Lake pool. But until that time, you're pretty much restricted to the tankers you got hooked up there, or the potable water tankers that the county's providing. So be aware of that. And it's not a safe place to bring tourists into at this time. It's too unstable. They don't know the area. Those are the people that are going to get in trouble. Okay, as I mentioned, the notification system. We've got one siren in the Leilani Estates, right in the center. If a vent opened it up there, that thing would be gone. Then we'd have to rely on our messaging system. So that includes, first off, what we provide through Hawaii County Civil Defense. It's called a Blackboard system or program. You go onto our website. It's a voluntary system. You access our site. You can sign up. If you have problems signing up, call our office. We got people that can sign you up. What that does is it'll give you a text message or phone call on a landline, but it'll give a text message, web, email. Also, it updates all our social media. Also, what we do is, in conjunction with that, we'll put out our messages on the radio. So you guys all know, I hope, if the siren goes off, the action you're supposed to take is to turn on your radio. We'll provide a radio message at the same time that we put out that siren so that you can turn on your radio and listen to directions, whether it is shelter in place or if you need to evacuate. Thought I heard a question. Well, we'll save that question for later. I'll be on the side. You guys can come up to me.
Personal preparedness. Personal preparedness. Make sure you guys have your escape plans. It relates to the question I just got. Right? You get our alert. You need to be ready to go. That means you need your important papers, whatever you need to take with you. If you're going to grab your animals or any goods, make sure you got to take them with you. As far as response, as soon as we get a reading in the monitors. I can answer your question if you.
Excuse me, we're not going to kick you out, okay? All we want to do is we're going to answer all your questions, but we want to be able to give the general, all of you here, in regards to the most important questions or information possible. We're not trying to not answer your questions, but let's just follow the agenda. We're going to be here. We're going to be here to answer your questions. You have individual specific questions. Let's move on to the agenda first. And after that, we're going to answer your questions, okay? If it's on the side, it's on the side. We'll be here until 6:30 if you want. Okay, thank you.